You stated in there that one of the top concerns from the sales managers that you work with is people wanting to wing it. They're not really managing their time. So what tips can you provide to sales managers that have that question to really help them get better at getting their people focused?
First of all, they should be focused. You use the key word, focused on sales-related activities. And so what is that? That is prospecting, calling existing accounts, calling new accounts, asking for referrals, building relationships, attending functions or trade shows, of course, where they are likely to make connections and obtain business. So all of these things are to be done during selling time. And the most successful people I learned, and trust me, when I did this before I started my own business and even when I started up this business in 1993, I was very focused on doing all my calling on the morning and seeing clients in the afternoon and writing up orders in the end of the day. And I was very disciplined at the time to make 40 calls a day. And the way that came about, and salespeople love when I say this. I tell them about how I started out in sales. And of course, I've been self-employed most of my life, but I worked for a training and development company that specialized in productivity. And the president of the company was also the sales manager, and he was one of the toughest people that I've ever met and ever worked for. He used to tell the salespeople that were making the calls and calling on clients that we are to make a minimum of 40 phone calls a day. Now, that doesn't mean that you get to talk to 40 people, but you do 40 dialings or leave 40 voicemails. He would come out of his office if the phones weren't ringing, and he'd pound the table and he'd say, "The phones aren't ringing. No calls coming in. Not enough going out. Let's get on those phones." Well, I didn't like his methods, especially the pounding on the table, but I'll tell you, I worked very hard. I was very successful in my role, but when I started my own company several years later, I was so disciplined that my peers were saying, "I see your name all over. I see you selling to clients and making speaking engagements all over the place. How did you do it so fast?" And I said, "Very simple, 40 calls a day." And I tell that story in my sales keynotes and presentations because it is the truth. I was disciplined to do 40 calls a day. And the other thing that I'd like to share with anyone listening is I always have this practice. When I wake up in the morning, even before I get out of bed, I say to myself, what is the most important thing I need to do today? When you're in sales, that's pretty easy. What's going to put money in my pocket or what's about to close? And you start out your day doing that. What many salespeople do is they go into the office, they skim their email, they answer some of their email. What they should be doing is leaving non-important for later. Then they listen to their voicemail and they make a few calls. And pretty soon it's 10 a.m. and they haven't started selling, because they've been on the phones and they have the feeling that they've gotten a great deal done, but they really haven't. They've been efficient by getting a lot of things done, but they haven't been effective. They haven't been on the phones with clients. And so, or if they're going to an appointment, of course, they start out each day that way. But some of them wing it. They don't start their day with a plan. They don't have a systematized way of doing it. And, of course, seasoned sales professionals use Salesforce.com or any one of these systems, ACT. Macintosh also has a very good program, and they have to be disciplined with using it and systematic. And they have to manage their territory effectively, but so many people wing it, and that's what makes sales managers rather unhappy.
It is so glaring when you use the term efficient versus effective. It's really about closing the sale and getting more sales. So do you have an ideal amount of time that an individual should be spending on, I guess, the things to be effective? So the actual sales stuff, I mean, is it like the 80-20 rule? What do you find to be how much time should be spent trying to close business and how much time should be spent on servicing the business you already have?
That's, again, one of the biggest challenges sales professionals have, and that is that they have to take care of existing clients. They have to return their phone calls, and this sometimes prevents them from prospecting and going after new business. And so I think the thing is to find the balance or develop habits that work for you. And the other thing has to do with what you sell or offer. Sometimes it's a long-term selling, and sometimes it's very short-term. So I would say that you absolutely must take care of your existing clients first, and then right away get into your selling and the ones that talk to the ones you're about to close, go on appointments, etc.